13 News at 4 begins with breaking news. We've just learned a person was shot and killed at an East Side business.
This happened at 36 and Post Road on the East Side. IMPD telling us they believe this is an isolated incident and a suspect has already turned himself into police. Chase Howe rushed to the scene and is there now live.
Chase, what are people who were there at the time? Was anyone in the business? What are they telling you?
Dustin and Marie, let me show you what it looks like behind me right now. As you can see, police are still investigating that deadly shooting that happened here at Biomat USA Plasma Center. And on the side of the building, you can see workers and people that were inside the building that were taken out as witnesses. From what I heard from a woman who is a mother of a worker here, she tells me that her daughter was inside working when a man went to the back of the building and there was some sort of altercation when shots began to get fired. Now, I also spoke to a man who you'll hear more from at 5, who tells me that he was sitting in the front side of the building, so this little area, that's the waiting room, when he just heard around 5 or 6 shots. Next thing he knew, he was running towards the bathroom with other people. So again, what we know right now is one person is dead, another person was taken into custody. As far as traffic goes, we do know that there will be some interruptions between 34th and 38th for that commute home.
All right, Chase Howe reporting live for us on the East Side. Thanks so much. We're going to stay on top of developments in this breaking news. And as new details come into us, we'll provide updates for you on air, on our mobile app, and on all WTHR platforms.
Want to get to the latest now on the Delphi murders case, where we learned more today about the police interrogation of Richard Allen.
Yes, it was all caught on video. And for the first time, jurors were able to watch that video as Allen was questioned by the investigators. Now, Allen is the man who's charged in the deaths of the 2 teens, Abby Williams and Libby German. The bodies of both girls found in February of 2017 near the Monon High Bridge in Delphi.
Our Bob Siegel was in the courtroom and breaks down today's testimony.
Day 10 of testimony is focusing on the statements given by Richard Allen to state investigators before he was arrested. October 2022, that is when investigators first sat down for a formal interrogation of Richard Allen, and jurors today got to see actual video of that interview between Allen and state investigators. It started off with everyone being relaxed, with Richard Allen offering up information very freely, cooperating with investigators. But then, when the investigators told him they wanted to search his phone and they wanted to conduct a search warrant at his home, the tone of the interview changed. At that point, Allen said, "Your attitude toward me has definitely changed. This feels like you're interrogating me. You've known from the beginning I was out there. I told you that." Steve Mullen, an investigator for the state, said, "We're not mad at you. We're not upset with you. We're just trying to get to the truth." Richard Allen said, "I think we're done." He said, "It's not me. You're not going to convince me it's me. I had nothing to do with those murders." At that point, they allowed Richard Allen to go, but they did serve a search warrant on his home, and 2 weeks later, they sat down with him again, this time with much tougher questions. State Police Lieutenant Jerry Holman is the one who conducted this interview, and he presented evidence that came from the state crime lab indicating that a cartridge found at the crime scene had cycled through one of Richard Allen's guns. Richard Allen, over and over throughout the interview, said, "I had nothing to do with this. I am not going to admit to something I didn't do. I can't explain something I don't know about." At one point, Richard Allen's wife, Kathy, was allowed to come in the interview room. She was crying. They hugged. He vehemently explained to her that he had nothing to do with the murders. And when Kathy Allen then went to leave the room and Jerry Holman came back in, that's when things got incredibly heated. He said, "Now you're going to drag your wife and daughter through this because you're too blank, bullheaded to get out ahead of this." Richard Allen responded, "You're going to pay for what you've done to my wife. You want to blank with me, but you leave my wife out of this. Leave me out of this." At that point, Jerry Holman started screaming at Richard Allen, saying, "I know that you are the killer." At one point then, Richard Allen said, if you're going to arrest me. And Jerry Holman said, happy to. Very important testimony today. Actually, the words of Richard Allen that the jury got to hear for themselves coming up this afternoon. More words we expect from Richard Allen, this time in the form of alleged confessions that he made behind bars. The jury will be very interested in hearing that. We'll have that testimony coming up for you at 5. In Delphi, Bob Siegel, 13 News.
Bob, thanks so much. And every night here, Monday through Friday, we have complete breakdowns of what happens in court in our Delphi debrief. Bob will join us with more on the case, and this is something that you can watch. You can stream it on WTHR Plus. That is our streaming app. If you don't have it, go get it. It's free to download. You can get it on Apple TV, Amazon Fire Stick, and also on Roku.
A terrifying wake-up call this morning on Indy's West Side. Family members of a woman shot in her own home say the shooter clearly had the wrong person.
Now police are searching for that shooter. Our Sierra New Yorker has developing details tonight.
The victim's son tells me his mother was sleeping when someone drove by her home and shot multiple times through her house, striking her as she lay in her bed. That son did not want to be identified on camera. He says his 72-year-old mother called him just before 4 this morning saying she didn't feel good, not realizing she'd been shot. When officers arrived to her home on Digby Court near Georgetown and West 30th Street, they found her with gunshot wounds and she was taken to the hospital with critical injuries. Her son believes the shooting was, quote, wrong house, wrong time. And now police are trying to figure out why. Tuesday morning, detectives gathered evidence focused on dozens of bullet holes that riddled the house and shattered windows. Several neighbors also did not want to talk on camera, but they were checking out the damage to their cars parked out front. As of this afternoon, the victim's son says his mother is now stable and recovering at Eskenazi. He wants police to find the shooter and take them off the streets. Metro Police have canvassed this neighborhood and are gathering evidence, including footage and ring cam that could give clues to who committed this crime. If you know something, please call police. Reporting on Indy's West Side, Sia New Yorker, 13 News.
All right, Sia, thank you. Also from the city's west side today, more construction headaches.
Absolutely. The work is continuing on the Washington State Bridge. This is that bridge that goes over Little Eagle Creek. Now, it is expected to remain closed for about another year, but that's so frustrating for people that live there. They say it is becoming a problem to reroute and also, in the meantime, a major safety risk.
We've been hearing this over and over again.
Yes.
Samantha Johnson explains why they're so worried.
The main concern is that despite the obvious barriers and road closed signs, people are still passing through. Pedestrians, cyclists, even drivers. Take a look at this picture shared by one of the local businessmen here on Washington Street. And unfortunately, we know this is not the only car that's crashed at the bottom of this site.
We do ask that you keep your head up and you always pay attention.
Officer Tommy Thompson with IMPD is reminding drivers you cannot cross a closed construction site. That goes for pedestrians too. Instead, you're asked to follow the marked detours
To ensure that there is a sidewalk to walk on if it's in a city street.
But Chris Garvin tells me that's easier said than done.
I love the city, don't get me wrong, but the infrastructure is terrible.
So still ahead tonight, hear why Garvin and many others say this detour isn't feasible and why they say the bridge work is getting even more dangerous. Plus what Indy DPW is now saying on 13 News at 5:30. On the west side, Samantha Johnson, 13 News.
Thanks so much, Sam. Let's take a look at traffic right now. This is I-70 at Emerson, east and west out of Indianapolis. What we're looking at here is a slowdown in the eastbound lanes. The traffic that's moving out of the city right now, you can see there's a traffic that's slowed down on the ramp. That's the ramp exiting 70 onto Emerson, causing a little bit of a slowdown as people head east out of Indy at 4:09 this afternoon.
Let's get a first check of the forecast. Sean Ash is tracking. Have we hit a record yet? Have we broken a record? We got to be close.
Close. 80.
Oh,
The record,
so close.
The record today is 81. Now, This is only the 8th day on record in Indy. The records go back to 1871, only the 8th time we've had a high of 80 degrees or higher this late in the season, and the first one we've had in 74 years. So this is rare air any way you slice it, and we're going to be very close to a daily record high tomorrow. We're forecasting 81. The daily record is 82. We will keep you updated. I know you guys are going to be waiting with bated breath over there whether or not we tie the record today, but still, we're talking temperatures that are a good 20 degrees above average, coming with a very strong southwest wind that's gusting to almost 40 miles per hour. We'll run down tomorrow. We'll talk about that rain for Halloween all ahead in the 7-day forecast.